Hello, I'm Roman, and I'm doing a Part D of the PBL project. Um, in the future, I'm supposed to be a teacher, probably, maybe. We'll see how it goes. But for now, I'm supposed to be a biology teacher. So my project had to do something with science, and three major skills that need to be in science is communication, knowing how to do research, and visual stuff like posters and that kind of stuff because a lot of people actually learn visually. So for students to become good learning visually, um, what they will make a poster that will be like some information about like specific topic that's being taught in the class. Like that could be like cells, like and other a lot of other stuffs. On the poster, they were supposed to have like five pictures and like at least three different like colors of the poster. Like it shouldn't be like boring, like one color poster. So it will help students like to just have fun, communicate with each other, just like maybe learn something new for themselves. Other part is communication, which work in groups, because when students will be working in groups, cause they will be doing it while doing labs. So they need to have good communication because they always work with chemicals and they could like hurt themselves or like spill chemical on accident. So they need to communicate and make sure that everything will be right. So that's the communication part. They will learn how to share their ideas between each other, and also they will um, just learn how to communicate with each other on who's doing what. Like I'm gonna do this part, or you're gonna do that part. I believe that that's like a great skill for students to know that communication it's always being used, and if you're not good in it, it's gonna be hard. Another skill that will be used would be research. Since I'm a biology major, I'm going to be a biology teacher one day maybe. Research will be a big part of it. Students will need to know how to do research, how to like find the right sources, and they will do a little project in class that's probably going to be like maybe a week project. And what they will do is they will find like a specific topic that we talk in class. It could be like a lot of things, like maybe like specific like plants or like cells, animals, like specific topic on something, and they will have to do research on the internet when they will use technology like laptops, maybe tablets and stuff like that. And they will do the research and they'll have to type a paper on it. So that will be 1 week project. They will learn how to find the right sources. I'm obviously going to be there to help them to like cite information and that kind of stuff. So that's going to be the research part of it. Then at the end of the term, students will have to take an exam. Since it's science courses and stuff like that, there's always going to be tests, exams, and that kind of stuff. So I would, me personally, I like more portfolio kind of style, but since it's a science major, students need to know how to take the right exams and know their information. So exams will be a big part of it, and they will only have one final exam that will be over the whole topic, the whole material that was being covered in class. And that's going to be the final exam. And also, in a class, there will be two assessments that they'll have to learn, will be formative assessments and summative assessments. Formative assessment is going to be like all the work, like work groups, like posters, working together, doing research, finding the right sources, citing information. All of this is formative assessment. Then later, towards the end, they will have a final exam. Final exam will be on everything that was covered and learned in the class, or like the whole term or semester. So that's going to be their final exam. So my job as a teacher, as a biology teacher, would be to provide students with information, but there's a lot of different scaffolding methods of how to teach students like the subject. So what I would do, I would make sure I would not give the answer away because it's not like fun, and it's also like you won't students won't learn as much if they will just get the answer like right away. But they'll have to like work for it. They'll have to use their critical thinking skills and other skills like communication and research to find the right answers. And like, for example, labs. Like in my class, they were obviously going to be doing labs and stuff like that. Like labs, they have to see what's going to happen at the end of the lab. Like teachers should not be saying like you do this, then and then and that, and tell them like and this what happens. Like students have to experience it and they have to see it. That's like one of my like scaffolding like learning methods is that students could get hints, but they should not be getting the full answer. So that's one of the scaffolding methods that I'm going to use in my class. Also, I believe that the class should always be somewhat entertaining. When I remember some of my classes that when I come to that class, it's boring. Like you just sit there, you like stare at the teacher, listen to him talk, and then leave. Like that's not fun, especially like me being as a high school teacher. If I would do that, like probably none of the students will like me. So what I would do in my class for every week, there's going to be like some kind of video from YouTube or somewhere that we will watch. There will be like somewhat in the biology area that will just like teach them something new, like some interesting facts that's like going on in the world, and just like keep the students updated and interested in the subject. Because if you lose that interest of something, you don't want to do it anymore. So if I will be able, which I will be able to keep them in like interested in a subject, they will do well in the class and they will learn a lot of new things. So that's one of the things that I'm going to do to entertain them, I guess. Other thing that I'm going to do is maybe like sometimes, like maybe also like once a week, we will play like some sort of game, like maybe like a word game or something like that's also going to be related to biology. Maybe like game for extra credits so students will like try and everything. But I would like, what a lot of teachers do is that like they don't motivate their students to like do their work. And when like extra credit time comes, students not ready because they were never motivated to actually study and stuff like that. That's why I want to make sure that like a day before I'm gonna give extra credits, I'm gonna be like read this, that, and that. We're gonna play this game tomorrow, and it'll be for extra credits. So if you need those extra credits, you have a bad grade in the class, this will help you. That kind of gives that motivation to student. Hey, like if I'm gonna like study this, that, and that, I'll play a game tomorrow. I'll get some extra credit points. I'll have a better grade in the class. Like that's motivating. A lot of teachers don't do that, but I believe that's a great way for students to get more engaged in the class. Maybe like even me, like asking me more questions, and it's more like even entertaining and more interesting to me when students will be asking questions and being engaged in my class. Because it's not fun to teach if like students just sit there like bored. So that's what the other thing that I want to make sure to motivate students to actually learn the subject, not to just like sit in class and listen to me talk and then do a lab and leave. They will actually be like entertained and interested in a subject. That's one of my goals when I'm going to become a teacher. In the class, I believe also one of the big things would be respect each other and like treat each other equally, because what a lot of teachers would do is they would like kind of find their favorites. So like their favorites will they'll like come by, like always like talk to them and stuff like that, and other students just gonna be like doing a project and teachers would just come by and like student will like ask a question and teachers gonna be like, oh yeah, just do that and that and that and leave. Like that's not treating everyone equally. And also I'll make sure in my class that students will be treating themselves equally to each other. Like no one's gonna be like bullying anyone, no one's gonna be like disrespecting anyone, like using inappropriate language and stuff like that. Like that's like the other thing that I want to focus by teaching in class, just to make sure that all these things like respect, integrity, like are being used in the class. Like it's not just like saying like, oh, that's the right thing to do. It's like, no, that's like what actually you're supposed to do. it's obviously that there's gonna be other details that I will have to see like maybe in the future because I'm just like starting now to see like hey like this how it's supposed to be like that's how the teaching is supposed to go and stuff like that. But in the future I maybe will learn more. Well, I will learn more about teaching and everything. But for now like that's how I want my class to work. And there's also gonna be a lot of details like to the class. It's not just like that easy to just like teach a class. It's a hard job, but I believe that it's also possible. So that's gonna be the end of my Part D PBL project. And yeah, thank you.